Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Sir.
Am I audible clearly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We'll just wait for 10 members to join and then we'll start immediately. Today I'm starting with the syllabus. Just wait for 5 minutes. Let's see how many people join. If nobody joins, then we'll start with whatever strength that we have. I think we have 10 members. Yeah, we have 10 members, so we'll start. All of a sudden, how 8 members have? There were 10. Who has left? Any idea? All students kindly join. Please pass on the message to everyone who is there. Okay, we'll start. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
So, welcome once again for the dual specialization of finance and marketing, or finance and HR. And one of the most important subjects that we have to understand in terms of marketing prospects, also in terms of financial prospects, also, and in terms of HR prospects, is how do we manage risk? Of late, if I could just tell you some updates, a lot of companies today are facing different types of risk. They're not only facing the risk in terms of their financial aspects, but they're facing the risk in terms of sustainability. Yeah, so they are unable to know what could be the potential situation tomorrow. We have reached to such a level that sustaining for today, if you are able to sustain today, that is something more. Nobody is thinking of tomorrow. But if all said and done, how do we manage the risk that we are going to convert or foresee in the near future? And that is what we have to understand in terms of risk management. So as I introduced in my previous class, that was the first opening class of 4th semester, I did give you an overview of what we are going to study in this particular subject. To just recapitulate, we are going to study the risk concept. So we are going to analyze and understand where are the potential risk sources, from which angles can a company, can a society, can a country face risk. Next is There are 3 stages. Can we avoid that risk? If you can't avoid, can we reduce the risk? And if you're not able to reduce the risk, can you transfer the risk? So these 3 steps is what we have to understand in this particular subject of risk management. And now we are going to start with our syllabus. And the first unit or the first module of risk management and insurance talks about a particular concept called as how do we identify risk. But before we identify risk, it is important for us to understand what we are going to understand, what we are surely meaning by the word risk. Yeah. So I'll just give you an overview of what is risk, what are different types of risk, what are different sources of risk. All these things I have kept on telling off and on, but officially I have to complete it since it is a part of your syllabus. So we'll start with the first concept in terms of what do you mean by what is the overall or overview of the word risk. So can anyone just tell me what could be the potential definition or what could be the meaning of the word risk in your own words? I don't want the book definition, but can you tell me what do you mean by the word risk? Can anyone tell me what do you mean by the word risk? I'm waiting for response from somebody.
So it is the possibility of happening of unfavorable events in the future.
It is a possibility of having an unfavorable
events or things in the future.
Okay. What else? Basically,
So
it also is uncertainty, sir.
outcome.
One person. Yeah. Go on, Rohin.
So it's an undesirable outcome or a potential for a loss.
Undesirable outcome or potential for loss. Okay. Rashmi?
So it also is the uncertainty of happening of events.
Very simple. Risk means uncertainty. When you are sure of something bad is going to happen, that means you will take care of it beforehand, right? When you know something bad is definitely going to happen in the near future, will you not take care of it? You will definitely take care of it. But when you don't know a particular thing, whether it will happen or not, when there is uncertainty of something, and you don't know whether you should avoid it, whether you should neglect it, whether you should override it, whether you should not bother about it, when you are unaware of all these things, that is where uncertainty comes into picture. So when we talk about the word risk, we are talking about some uncertainty that is likely to happen. How much will it happen? When will it happen? To whom will it affect? How will it affect? We all don't know about it. So that is the meaning of the word risk. So let us try to understand what is the exact definition of the word risk. Okay. Now this is what we have to understand as far as risk management. We are going to understand the meaning of risk. We will spend a lot of time on risk identification concept. So basically we will try to see what are the different ways in which we can identify risk. Okay, all of a sudden risks do not arise. There is always some indication that some bad event is likely to happen. Indications are already given. Only thing is we have to identify those particular signals. That is where we call as risk identification. Next concept is, once you have identified the risk, your job is to evaluate that particular risk, assess that particular risk. Whatever you feel can be managed in-house, you please manage it. Whatever you feel you cannot manage it, but you still have to incur that particular risk, then you outsource that particular risk by paying a certain amount. So when you outsource a particular risk by paying a certain amount to the third party, we call it as assurance, or we also call it as insurance, right? And what are the areas in which we can experience risk? So we can experience risk whenever our physical assets are exposed to that particular risk. Whenever assets are exposed to a particular risk, we are going to face physical asset risk. Whenever our financial assets are exposed, we call it as financial risk. Whenever humans are exposed, we call it as human asset risk. Likewise, we have the legal risk or the legal liability risk. With all these things, we cannot ignore all these aspects. Keeping in mind all these points, we still have to manage the risk and whatever controls we initiate is called risk control mechanism. So this is what we are going to study entire thing as far as risk management is concerned. So let us start directly with what do you mean by the word risk. Okay, so risk is basically a potential harm that may arise from some present process or from some future process. So it is a harm. Please try to understand the word. It is a harm. It is a loss that is likely to happen. If there is some good that has happened, then we will not call it as a risk, right? We will call it as a return. When some good is expected to happen, we will call it as a return. But whenever some loss is expected to happen, we will definitely call it as a potential harm that can arise because of some event. It may happen today or it may happen at some day in future. Next important characteristics of risk management is there are two ways. Risk is measurable, that means you can estimate the amount of loss that is occurred because of risk. In some cases, you cannot estimate the loss of an asset due to risk. For example, suppose you are working in a company and your colleague who is working just besides you is working in a machine on a machinery, and suddenly because he is exposed to the radiations of that particular machinery, he dies. Now when he dies, there is a potential loss on the company, and that loss is measurable. Probably the company will estimate the value of that particular employee and compensate the amount of money to his family. But for the family, you cannot ascertain the life, you cannot measure the life of that particular lost person in terms of monetary value. So risk is basically measurable also, risk is also non-measurable. In other words, there is uncertainty. Okay, next concept that we have to understand is there can be a situation where risk, there is no risk at all. So that means the risk is free. That means you are free of any risk, that is nothing is expected from this particular thing. So that is what we call as zero variance tolerance. Okay, so whatever words I am speaking, you will understand it at a later stage when we come to certain concrete examples. But as of now, you understand that risk means there is a potential harm that may arise to you either today or someday in future. Next, as both of you rightly said, okay, risk is a it's an undesirable situation, or it's an uncertainty that occurs, or it's a potential loss that can be expected someday in future. So if you read these three meanings, it says risk is used to describe the situation where there is uncertainty. So whenever there is uncertainty, we always use the word risk. And uncertainty of what? Of some potential outcome. We are expecting some outcome, and if we do not get that particular outcome, that means we are uncertain about that outcome, and that leads to risk. Second point, risk of an investment decision is directly related to returns. So whenever you are able to measure the risk, you always calculate your risk in terms of the returns. The higher the risk you are ready to take, the higher would be the expected return, and lower would be the expected risk if your expectation from that particular asset is on lower basis. From business perspective, business risk management is concerned with possible reduction in the value of the business. Just a minute. So businesses always will face a risk called as business risk management only when they face a potential loss. That means they are expecting that their business will not sustain tomorrow. In such a situation, we call it as a business risk management. Any doubts here in this point? These 3 points that I've just mentioned to you?
Sure.
Yeah.
No, sir.
Somebody shouted, right? Anyways. Now coming to the main definition of risk, I think you already know about this particular definition. We have been speaking of this particular concept of risk in the 3rd semester itself when we were discussing the risk and return concept. But anyways, you please go through these 2 points, and these 2 points talk about the definition of risk and give you an example of risk also. Just go through this. So one important word that you have to understand here is the word uncertainty. So risk means uncertainty. Okay, and risk also specifically means variability in the outcome around the expected value. You are expecting something, you don't get that particular expectation, your expectation is not met. And as a result, whatever loss that you are going to face, that is what we call as risk. In other words, suppose after an investment in a potential company, I am expecting a return of say 20%. To my surprise, the return was only 8%. The return was only 8%. So what is the potential risk that I'm facing here? I'm facing a risk of 12%. Are you able to understand this? Because I'm expecting 20%. I got only 8%. What about the balance? Balance is the risk that I'm going to face. That is, because of some uncertain event or because there is some change in the expected value of my outcome, I'm facing that particular loss. That is what we mean by the word risk. There's an example here which talks about an insurance market. High policy holders always have a risk that, why does anyone take an insurance? Anyone takes an insurance to protect himself against any loss, right? In other words, if you feel that your life is precious enough and if something goes wrong with your life tomorrow, your family members should not suffer. So for that reason, you take an insurance cover. In other words, you are paying a certain sum of money on regular basis over a period of time with an assurance from the insurance company that tomorrow something goes wrong with you and you die in that particular event, the money that has been paid will be paid back to his legal health. So this is the concept that you have designed and you took the insurance. But think the same perspective from the insurance company's point of view. The insurance company will not have any problem in receiving premium for all. It is a profit for them. But the day they are supposed to pay the assured value, that day insurance company faces a loss. That is what we call as the concept of risk. Now, let us go to the main elements of risk. Now, this is going to be a repetition again. We have already discussed this in the third semester as to what we mean by the word risk and what are the classifications of risk. So basically, risk is divided into two segments. First one, we call it as the systematic risk. And the second one, we call it as the word unsystematic risk. Now, what is systematic risk? Systematic risk is that particular risk which is faced by everyone, right? So each and every person who is associated with that particular asset is going to face a uniform risk, and this risk is called as systematic risk. Everyone has to face this particular risk. Second, this risk is an external source. It is not within the company, it's an external source, and you cannot control that particular risk. So that is what we call as the systematic risk. Okay. Next is we have something called as the unsystematic risk. Unsystematic risk is also called as an internal risk. Why we call it as an internal? Because you can manage it. In other words, you can control it. So if you put a proper mechanism in place, you can definitely control the unsystematic risk because it is in your hands. And in case of unsystematic risk, you are the only person who is going to get affected by it. No other person is going to get affected by the unsystematic risk. Next, we see what are the types of risk in terms of financial aspects. We have something called as the default risk. Okay, we have something called as the default risk. Now, the default risk arises whenever one party borrows money and does not have the capacity to repay it. That is where a default takes place. Let me give you an example. I am a small time company. I borrow say around 1 crore rupees from the bank to meet my financial obligation. In due course of time, I utilize this borrowed money into my business. And after I invest the borrowed money into my business fails for certain reasons. Now, if the business fails for certain reasons, the ownership of paying back the money comes back to me. In such case, if I am unable to service the loan or if I am unable to repay the money, then the bank who has lent me the money, that particular bank is going to face a risk, and this risk we call as a default risk. Default risk occurs when the borrower takes money but does not pay back. So the entity who has given money, the risk that that particular company faces, that is what we call as the default risk. Next, we have the concept of financial risk, right? So what happens in terms of financial risk? Can anyone tell me what we mean by the word financial risk? You can go through this and you can give me some other example also, no issues. Kindly go through this particular definition of what do you mean by financial risk. Yeah, can somebody tell me what do you mean by the word financial risk? The financial risk. Yes. Yeah, go on. Somebody wanted to say something?
So should I?
Yeah, please.
So it means that whatever obligations that the firm has to pay, it might not be able to pay in unforeseeable future, sir.
That is a default risk, right?
So,
But I mean, it wouldn't be able to like pay for not just creditor, sir, to pay for all the expenses that it might have in future, sir.
Okay, I'll give you a simple example.
That money might not be sufficient for them to run the business.
Right. I'll just give you an example. I am a bank and you borrow money from me. Correct? You borrow money from me. You borrow money for some specific reason and I give you the money with an intention that you will repay this. But unfortunately, for some reason, you did not repay. So the risk that I as a bank face is a default risk. Now from your perspective, Rashmi, you utilize this money, your job is to service the loan. That means pay the interest, pay the debt, pay the interest. But your earnings are not sufficient enough to pay me the interest also. I'm a creditor, right? So naturally you have to pay me the interest and the principal amount. But your earnings are not sufficient enough to meet those obligations. In such case, whatever risk that you face, that particular risk is called as financial risk. Are you able to get it, Rashmi?
Sir, did you say something?
Yeah, I said, suppose you are a borrower and I am the lender. Got it?
Yes, sir.
You are a borrower and I am a lender. You need 50 lakh rupees, so I gave you 50 lakh rupees for your business. You took 50 lakh rupees, invested in your company, and for some reason, your business did not click. It failed. So in the business failed,
sir, you're not audible properly to me, sir. Maybe some network issue.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I said you are my, you are a client. I am a bank. I have given you money as a loan. You took 50 lakh rupees of loan from me, invested this money into your business. For some reason, the business failed and you did not pay me the money. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So as a bank, the risk that I face is called as a default risk because you defaulted on payments. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, this is from my perspective. As a bank, I face default risk. But from your perspective, what happens? You invested
this money. It's a financial risk.
You invested this money. You earned some money out of it. But this money is not sufficient enough to pay me. I'm your creditor, right? I'm your creditor.
Yes, sir.
So you have earned some money, but this money is not sufficient enough to pay the interest and the principal amount. In such case, whatever risk that you face is called as financial risk. Getting it?
Got it, sir.
Next, we have a concept called as maturity risk. Please go through this. I'll explain to you what we mean by the word maturity risk. If you ever observe and go to the bank has rate of interest which are mentioned there, right? And what are the rate of interest? Suppose you take a loan for 1 year, the rate of interest will be this much. Suppose you take the same loan for 2 years, the rate of interest will be higher. If you take it for 3 years, the rate of interest will still be higher. Why does bank keep on increasing the interest rates as the time gets longer and longer? Can anyone please explain?
So obviously to cater that risk that they might arise due to purchasing power, sir. Because as the time passes by, there is a lot of inflation in the market due to which the purchasing power decreases, sir. So obviously the value of money also decreases. So they tend to like cover the risk by adding more rate of interest as the time increases. So.
Okay. I'll give you a simple example. What happens actually is, the more time my money is with you, I always feel a little bit unsecured. Tomorrow, if you die, what will happen to my money? Who is going to repay this? This question always keeps on troubling the banks. And that's the reason, to compensate this particular risk, what do banks do? Banks keep on increasing the interest rates as the tenure gets higher and higher. So the longer the time my money is with you, the more will be the interest rates. Because I always feel insecure because my money is with you, and tomorrow if something goes wrong with you, who is going to repay that particular money? So I'm going to face a risk, and this risk is not because you are likely to be a defaulter or you are having some problem. This risk arises because the time my money is available with you, and that's the reason I'm going to face a risk of time value of money. So to compensate this time value of money risk, I increase the rate of interest. In other words, this time value of money risk is also called as maturity risk. Are you able to understand? The same logic will also be applicable in terms of FD rates. If you want to keep the FD in a bank for 1 year, the rate of interest will be something. If you want to keep it for 3 years, the rate of interest will be something else. If you keep it for 4 years, 5 years and above, the rate of interest is something else. Why do banks do it? Because they feel that the more time your money is with us, okay, it is our duty to ensure that you get compensated for it. And that's the reason, the longer the duration you keep the FD in the bank, the higher will be the rate of interest. So that is what we call as the concept of maturity risk. Next, we have the liquidity risk. Please go through this quickly. What do you mean by the word liquidity risk? The liquidity risk occurs to all those people wherein they are unable to exchange their assets for money immediately. You might have heard many people saying that I have a property worth 50 lakhs. If something goes wrong, I can sell my property worth 50 lakhs and meet my financial obligation. That is all true. But will you be able to find a buyer immediately for 50 lakh rupees? You will not be able to find it. It takes time to sell off your house, to complete the procedure. By that time, if you need money urgently, you cannot wait for the deal to happen, right? So in such case, you have money, You have property, but that property is not liquid enough to convert it immediately into cash. So whenever you face a problem of converting your physical assets into cash, the longer the time it takes, the more you are facing liquidity risk. Are you able to understand? The longer the time you take to liquidate or to convert your physical assets into cash, this particular risk that you face is called as liquidity risk. I've just given you a very simple example. It is not mentioned on this particular slide, but I think it will solve your problem of understanding the point of liquidity risk. When you're not able to immediately convert your assets into cash, that risk is called liquidity risk. Next, we have a concept called as interest rate risk. Now, I've explained this interest rate risk in bond valuation also in the third semester. I've explained this risk, interest rate risk in unit number 3 and also in unit number 2. Can anyone please explain me what do you mean by the word interest rate risk?
So it is the risk that the interest rates might increase in the future due to inflation, sir. Obviously, because the actual interest rate is something else. I mean, it is a totality of normal rate plus the nominal plus this, sir.
Agreed.
Inflation rate.
But what do you mean by that? In plain and simple words.
So that's what So can you hear me now?
Rashmi, can you give me a simple example?
So say suppose I took a loan today at say 6% per annum.
Okay.
And in future the interest rate might increase to 8%, sir.
Okay.
So if any person is trying to take loan at that time, obviously he faces this risk, sir, because I have obviously borrowed at 6% earlier, sir, but now the other person will have to pay 2% more compared if he wants to take that loan, sir.
Correct. Put it in just to put it in other words so that this example is easily understood. Rashmi, you have taken a loan at 6%. Here, suppose you have taken 10 lakh rupees as loan as 6%. Immediately, when you took the loan within a month, suppose the rate of interest decreases to 5%. From 6%, it decreases to 5%. Rashmi, you will face this interest rate risk of 1% because you will continue to pay me at 6% per annum when the market rate is at 5% per annum. So the risk that Rashmi is going to face is the risk of 1%. That is what we call as interest rate risk. Now, was it her mistake? No. Was it my mistake? No. It is the entire system who has got affected by it. So this interest rate becomes a systematic risk because everyone has got affected by it. And the risk that Rashmi is facing is called as interest rate risk. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
So I'll not explain this because I think this example is more than sufficient for you to understand. Can somebody tell me what do you mean by the word inflation risk? And how is interest rate related to inflation? I want this to be answered by, I just point out somebody. USA number 55. USA number 55. Who is it?
Yes, sir.
USA number 55. Can you please answer how is inflation related to interest rate? Is USA number 55 there? Okay, USA number 47. Yeah, I want everyone to come in the video mode, please. You just keep it on and go out. Please come in the video mode. Everyone, please come in the video mode. So who is 47? USA number 47. Yeah. Can anyone tell me what do you mean by inflation risk? I want one. Vishaka, please tell me what do you mean by inflation risk? Okay. And Sushmita, please tell me how is inflation related to interest rate? Vishaka, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Vishaka, please tell me what do you mean by inflation risk?
I don't have any.
Okay, Sushmita, can you tell me what do you mean by inflation? How is inflation related to interest rate? How
So
is,
like
yeah.
when the interest rates are low, the inflation is high, sir.
When the interest rates are low, inflation is high. Okay.
So is it correct? Like,
see, inflation is directly proportional to rate of interest. Higher the inflation, higher will be the rate of interest. So if inflation is high, rate of interest will also be high. And if inflation levels are low, rate of interest will also be low. Yeah, so there is a direct proportion. It is not inverse. What you said,
okay.
When inflation is low, interest rates are high. No, that doesn't happen. Both are directly proportional. So the higher the inflation, higher will be the interest rates. Yeah, okay.
Okay, sir.
Who was supposed to explain me? Yeah, Shaka. Please tell me what is inflation risk. Okay, I think we'll have to stop here. We are running out of time. Vishaka, I'll ask you the same question again in the next class. Okay. Everyone, please come in the video mode so that I can take the attendance. Please come in the video mode. And from next class, I want everyone to answer. Rashmi and Rohin, you two people are not going to answer it every time. Let others also answer. So I'll pick up names and you have to answer it. Clear? Okay. Fine. I've got the photograph. Okay. I'll see you in the next class. Vishaka, be ready with the